Here we go. Wow. Hello, family. And can I say, yet another day? I want to first of all thank my family. Now, you all know how Bella does it. I got a shout out to all of my communities. So, first, let me start out with my most loyal. I'm getting ready to start something, y'all. My most loyal community. Hello, Facebook. How you doing on this beautiful Friday on March the 22nd? 2024. Now, listen, I cannot leave out my LinkedIn family. What's going on, LinkedIn? Yep, y'all come on in with the comments. I want to say salutations and shalom, as for those of you that know me. And I cannot be remiss because we have a new addition to the family. It's our Twitter. You know, I'm old school, aka better known as X. So, hello to my X family. Hello to my LinkedIn family. Hello to my faithful Facebook. And oh my goodness, I got a shout out to who's paying the bills, y'all. It would be that YouTube channel. So welcome, everybody. Now listen, y'all know Bella is back after my long sabbatical, right? This is episode number 2, and I want to say I'm back, and I'm grateful to God to be here. So listen, let's get into it. For those who've been following me, y'all come on in with the comments. Today we're going to be discussing authorship. And for those of you who have really been, I'm going to ask God to really be interactive today because this is part 2 to what I like to say authorship is the title, right? And people are saying, Bella, what the heck is authorship? I never even heard of the word. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, and my children who's watching me? This is a G rated, okay? So it's for everybody. I'm going to read a few things. But before I get any further, if you can look on the screen, I am graced with beauty because guess what? It is still Women's History Month. That's right. Come on now. Come on now. Let's give it up for Women's History Month. But y'all know how Bella roll. I say, like Beyonce, who run the world? Girls, girls. Okay, I'm not gonna sing. Y'all know I don't have that singing, but y'all know I am partial. I am partial to women. Go figure that one out, right? Catch me on the next episode, and I'll tell you why. When you grow up with 6 brothers, that's all I'm going to say. I'm partial to women, but I want to say happy Women's History Month as we continue the legacy. Although women are celebrated, come on, family, you got it right. 365 days of the year. But I have 2 beautiful queens that's going to talk about themselves individually. But right before we get started, I'm going to read a couple of things so I can get y'all up to speed, okay? And we are talking about authorship. I did look it up, and according to Webster, authorship is the state or fact of being the writer of a book, an article, or a document. Pretty much, you're the creator of a work of art, and it encompasses so much more. So lean in, everybody. This episode is definitely for you. Now, according to Master's Class, and I know everybody on social media heard of the master classes, right? The master class said that there are 4 ways to communicate effectively. 4 ways to communicate effectively. One of those ways is oral, which is what we're doing, oral storytelling. Another way is visual, which again we're seeing visual storytelling, and as well as written storytelling. And we have something called digital. That's right, y'all heard it. Come on, it's 2024, 21st century. If nobody heard of the word AI, I'ma say, what's wrong with y'all? Okay. So that's a little background about it. But you know what? I'm going to get right into it. This is going to be a nice show. I don't know how long, but you know what? We're going to stay on here as long as we want to, okay? But first up is my first queen. If you look below me, her name is Robin F. David. Listen, y'all know Bella. I can read those bios. I really know my people. I can honestly say every guest that comes on the show, I have fostered, Foster, a relationship, and I maintain that. Robin F. David is very dear to me. I've been knowing her. We were talking in the studio lounge a little bit over 10 years, probably more than that, Robin. But she hails from
Mhm,
Tennessee. I actually
mhm,
met her. Listen to me, y'all. I met her in the house of the Lord. Yes, I did. The house of the Lord. And it was a conference going on with her, and I had a mutual girlfriend. And I'm going to bring her back. Shout out to Michelle Gibson. She's been on
mhm,
my show multiple times, but she
mhm,
gave a beautiful conference. I met
mhm,
this beautiful woman as
mhm.
a vendor, and we have been collaborating ever since. So listen, without further ado, I want y'all to lean in. I'm going to show you her book, but she's going to introduce herself, tell you a little bit about herself, and we're going to roll like jelly. Oh, I don't know where that came from, but it sounded good. Anyway, without further ado, I want you to see healthy, okay, abundant, and wise. She's going to talk
Mhm,
about this book. This book is a few years in, but Robin will
mhm.
tell you all about it. So without further ado, come on Facebook, come on YouTube, Twitter, come on, get with the program, X. Let's do a round of applause, especially you, LinkedIn, for Robin F. David. Robin, girl, greet everybody and tell us a little bit about yourself. How you doing, girl?
How I'm doing? Thank you, Bella. Yes, you are back, beautiful, beautiful Queen Bella. Thank you for this moment to be here with you, Bella. I am so honored and appreciative of you even thinking of me as an author and able to share my story. So thank you so much again to all of your audience, all of those great places that you are streaming us from. Hello, hello, hello. As RFD would say, I'm also Robin F. David, aka RFD. And I would like to say hello to all of you. And I am an author, as you have mentioned. Not only am I an author, I'm a certified life coach. I am also an inspirational speaker. I also have my own show, which is called RFD Talk, where I have a program for women and men to watch. So check me out here on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, it's RFD Talk. And if you're on Instagram, follow me over there. So I've been having fun. One of the things I definitely like to say, I'm a mother. That's one of my greatest accomplishments as well. And I am a grandmother. I am very honored. So basically, that's who I am. Those are the things that I serve. And I'm also by trade. I got to remember this because I have been not being as transparent as I need to. I started everything as a nail technician by trade. I've been a nail technician for that's where it all started. All those other titles that I mentioned started there. And I started doing nails probably like over 30 years ago. So it opened up doors and it was so, into the place of becoming an author. And again, Michelle Gibson, and you mentioned her as a good mutual friend. And so I want to say, I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to be at that conference that you had there in Atlanta, and I was so happy that she introduced me to you as well. So that's who I am, and that's a little bit about me. And let me go on and tell you a little bit more. So I'll tell you a little bit about my journal as an author. As an author, it's been fun because initially I was a little bit scared of putting my words into paper for people to read later on, right? It's a little challenging in there. It was a little scary, but I knew as a speaker, I, as she had shared with us, as Bella has shared with us earlier, there's different types of forms of speaking. And I knew as a inspirational speaker, I always admired authors. I was like, oh my God, I would love to be an author one day. And how cool is that? And then as time went on, started to thinking, I can do this, right? I got into a program called Power for You was my publishing company. Power for You is still a publishing company, and they supported me. They gave me support that I needed as an author. So if you're thinking of being an author, sometimes going through programs like I went through that program with this is an anthology that we are talking about. The Healthy, Abundant, and Wise is an anthology. So collectively, me and 19 other women, we all have a chapter in that one book there. I also want to say that I am a self-published author, which is called Healing from the Inside Out, which is a journal to healing, a 30-day journal to healing. And that's also where I decided to do my second publishing and as an author, self-published. So again, with the opportunity to work with Powerful You, they were my coach. They gave me an outline. They gave me a time frame, and they don't give you a story. So at the time, I really didn't know what I really wanted to talk about. I had in mind that I was going to talk about. At that time, I had been married for a while, so I thought maybe I'll talk about being a long-term marriage. Presently, I'm divorced, but I had been in a 3-decade marriage at that time. But things suddenly changed and shift, and the contract was coming up, and I was like, oh, I need to write about what's really going on with my life right now. And so after the separation, there was some other things that happened in my life, which was unfortunate to me. I experienced the loss of my youngest son through gun violence. And with that happening, the story changed. And when the story changed, the Power for You contract was already in place. I was like, whoa, the contract is in place. I got this going on. And the anthology, it took a while to get the collective women together because anytime you do an anthology, you have to find the right women that would like to collab with you. So that took a little time for the publishers to get the right people. Then I finally got the words together to write, and it was healing for me to write down the day of the unfortunate happenings to me and my family of the loss of my youngest son. I was able to put 1,800 words on paper. But what it also did, once I was able to write the 1,800 words down, it also was healing. So when I think about, if you're thinking about being an author, and you have something that may be pent up inside of you that may have caused you not to feel so well, you can write it out. So that's one of the things I thought. I was like, okay, let me write this out. And when I wrote it all out, I could see that yes, it was a tragedy to lose my youngest son, but then it was also great to be able to get those feelings into a form of paper, and now they're in words. So both of those books, Healthy, Abundant, and Wise, will be tied into my story of what I went through in my life. So if you got to figure out your story, and then I wrote the Healing from the Inside Out, which is a guidance to help women and men learn how to manage their emotions and come into the place of healing their self from anything that may have happened in your life. So that's what happened with me and my story. I had a coach with my self-publishing book. I also did get a coach for that because I like coaches. Of course, I'm a life coach. I'm a healing coach, but the accountability, if you don't know what a coach is, someone to keep you accountable to time and getting it done and keeping your head focused. So I ended up having a book coach, actually an author coach, and she helped me with the second book. And I also want to just give your listeners, the first anthology became bestseller. I want to go back and say that I am an Amazon bestseller through that opportunity working with powerful you. So that was really fun. So if you're thinking about writing a book and maybe you need someone to help and guide you, that was so fun having the team of us. And we didn't even think we were going to get best Amazon bestsellers because normally you have to have 30 authors, and normally those are the ones that normally succeed to be. But we were again highly favored, blessed, and grateful that we became Amazon bestseller. So that was another thing. Losing the Sun in 2015 and then Amazon bestseller in 2016. It really was some way of God saying to me, "I'm so glad you was able to get it out, get your story out." So that's the healthy and abundant way. So yeah, so I feel like he was just you know how he does with us. He shines on us and hugs us through things like that. So that accomplishment, even though went through a darkest hour of my life at that time, it was very rewarding. So I encourage you to get that pen and start to write.
Well, you know what? And Robin, let me say, can I say thank you? Can I say thank you? Because actually, I have my copy. I have my copy, and I want to read just a few excerpts. You grabbed me at hello, and I want my listening audience to hear as Bella reads just a few pages. And I'm reading from her first. Did you hear what I said? Her first book, Healthy, Abundant, and Wise, that I have. And if you buy one, I'm sure she will autograph it for you.
Yeah.
Mine says, y'all ready? My beloved Bella Biz. Love you, Queen. And you know what? I'm on page 19. Rise to the occasion. Robin David. I mean, just the first few sentences grabbed me. I'm going to read it for the listening audience. The morning of Sunday, May 3rd, 2015 was a glorious one. As usual, I woke up early to affirm the promise of Father God Abba. We talking about, the big God up in here over my life and family.
Mhm.
Then proceed to get ready for church. She goes on. I don't want to give a lot away, but my point, Robin, is the first two sentences grabbed me. And I know I'm
Mm.
going to speak to the audience right now, my YouTubers, my Facebook, bring them on in the comments, particularly my LinkedIn, because you know what? I'm a baby boomer and I still hear people say, I don't like to read. When I hear
Mm.
that, I cringe because I myself, Robin, grew up in an environment where we went to the Enoch Pratt Library. We sure did, Miros. It was called the Enoch Pratt Library in Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out to B More, branches all over Baltimore City. And
Mhm.
every
Mhm.
Saturday, my mother was like, "You got your card, Linda?" "Yes, mother." And I would take my nephew and nieces every Saturday
Mhm.
after we cleaned the house and we checked out books. So when
Mhm.
people say, I don't like to read, anyway, I'm not going to go down that hole. You've got to read, people. You've got to read. And what better way to tell your story but through reading? Now, listen, Robin is on a time frame because you all should know, my family, community. I have a rich network of folks, and these queens are busy. They're not only entrepreneurs, hello, entrepreneurs, they also work corporate America, they
Mhm.
work their own business, they're authors, teachers, students, leaders, and Bella always understands time because you know what they say, a woman's work is never done, but also our time has to be respected. So Robin's going to tip off the stage probably in the next 10, 15 minutes. So I want to set the stage. So y'all bring those comments. And if you have any questions, I might answer and ask for to, if you be good to me. Okay. So Robin, let me ask you this. A lot of people say, Bella, I don't have a story to tell. So why should I write a book? Can you just speak to the audience of the people who think in their mind, right? Limited thinking, that they cannot write a book and that their story doesn't matter. Can you please speak to that, Queen?
Yes, I definitely would like to say I don't believe that you I don't believe you really have thought about this because I wanted to say in your life, all of us have some type of story that we overcame something. We went through something. So I believe that somewhere you might be just feeling that your story is not important, but your story is important. I feel like if you change that conversation with yourself and look at like how valuable you are and what you've been through, because I think sometimes people feel like their story doesn't matter, but your story does matter. It's just a little bit of what you've been through is going to help another person. So I would ask them to really consider what they have experienced in life and realize everything you went through means something, and it means something for someone else. It might have not meant that much you might feel like that don't mean anything to me, right? Like, oh, my life seems a little plain. But as I meet every individual, it could be anything. It could be how you conquered getting up to go to work every morning. Some of us need to know that you have something to share with the world. I believe everyone has a story. I just think the first thing they need to do is stop telling themselves that their story is not valuable, and look at those little milestones or big milestones in your life and see how you can really share that with somebody. And you will be surprised how your story can help someone.
You know what, Robin? Thank you for sharing that, because you know what? Even myself, and y'all know Bella keeps it 100. I just didn't think I had a story to tell until I met a particular person in my life, Robin. I want you to speak to this comment I'm going to make. And she was like, Bella, your whole life is a story, but you can just
Mm-hmm.
tell parts of it. And
Mm-hmm.
and I'm being honest, right? I'm always 100. In all that I do, I've been in media for over 20 years, production. My mindset. Y'all listen to what Bella's saying. It's in the mindset. I
Mm-hmm.
never
Mm-hmm.
thought of myself as an author, not negative or positive. I just never thought about it. And so for those people out there saying, oh, they looking like they all that in the bag of chips, they doing this, they're doing that. Everybody has a story. I
Mm-hmm.
really want to encourage, because everybody knows on Bella Unplugged, we're unplugging old mindsets. We're unplugging the
Mm-hmm.
ritual thinkings that we don't think with this and with that. And I know you
Mm-hmm.
have a little bit less than 10 minutes, because I want to honor your time, Robin. And,
Mm-hmm.
as the saying man says, in a nice way, I'm going to get you to your next destination. But please take this time, speak to the people. The comments are coming in. I really, really, I'm sincere about this whole. I mean, Miros knows I'm on this whole kick. And no, for all the audience, I do not have my book published yet. I am writing on it, and I'm on chapter 14. Trust and believe Bella gonna come out that gate. But Robin, speak. Please speak
So
to the masses.
So let me share with you. I love what you said. You were lured to the fact that you did media for 20 something years. And that's what this person is watching, that you have done something. And your whole story is a book. Your whole life is a story. I was talking to my youngest daughter like that. She said, oh, Mom, I'm doing some content today. I'll post it tomorrow. And that's what I told her. I said, I realized that my whole life is content, right? Your whole life is content, but you just have to decide. Like, again, I said, you might be a person who just gets to work on time really good, and you've been going to this job for 30 years. But then there's that person who's coming along who needs to know, how do I get up every day and be on time? That could be what you write about, because that's your story. You're just a person who was very punctual, you know what I mean? I'm using that just as an analogy, that you have something to share, but you have to unplug and unlearn that your value in your life is here for purpose, and it's been a story all the time you've been living. And so I feel like you really need to get that pen out and start thinking about, like, what you did as a kid, or something that you've done for 15 years. Someone wants to know, as I'm a licensed nail technician of over
Mm-hmm.
30 years.
Right.
So now I have so much information. I need to write an ebook so I can share with the newer nail techs coming up, or the new. So that's what I'm saying to you. Whatever you've been doing in life, it's been a real story, whether you felt like it's a good story or not. Like my story, no one want to write about the fact that you lose a child, right? So when I came up with those 1,800 words, that was not initially my story. I wanted to do the little fluffy story. I've been married for 33 decades, and we just cute little couple, right? And we made it to 30 plus. That story didn't happen. I can tell people how to, now that I've been married for that long, I could probably tell you how to reinvent yourself or how to move through a divorce, right? So you just got to take the story and accept your story and share those pieces with other people, because once you do that, it also heals you and it makes you feel more that your life has been more valuable than you had even recognized. So that's why I would say get that pen and also don't worry about what you're going to talk about at first. If you have something that you're passionate about, just start writing it down. One thing about being an author, you don't have to do it perfect at first, because you're going to let the editor clean it up for you. So just start jotting down. I like being at work on time. Then that's what you want to write about. Then jot it down. How do you do that? Or if you, whatever that is, if you like soccer, you've been doing it for years, or you've been, whatever that is, you just write about it every day. Or also you can put it in an audio form, because that's the other way I wrote. I got to share that to the audience. I'm
Oh,
not a, I didn't always write down perfect stuff. I just wrote down certain things, and then I would give that to my editor. But also I would, when things would drop in my spirit, I would put it in the audio. I would just say, "Oh, today this da 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 da," and I would just put it in the voice message. And then when I sat down to
oh,
listen to, so yeah, so I am also an audio learner. And that's when I started learning myself. I had to speak it out. And now notice that we have a lot of audio books,
yeah.
because people learn from audio, and I had to learn that I'm an audio person. I know what you were saying about reading. I told a librarian that I admire people who can really sit down and read a lot of books. But I told her, for some reason, I love listening to audio, and I catch it. I have to listen to it over and over, and then I catch the lesson. And she said, Robin, because they hadn't talked about that a lot. People do learn audio. It hadn't been on the front of teaching to us in a society of, there are people like myself. And you can hear the word better too. Sometimes I need to hear the word to pronounce it and to know how to fit it into where it belongs. So you have different types of learning. And you can also do an audio book. Today, audiobooks are very big. So you can write your book out, and then you can use your voice if you want to use your voice. So I suggest that you start writing down what you're passionate about, or whatever painful stuff, because writing painful issues down also helps you bring it out of your body, and it puts it on the paper, and it releases you from those things that's tied up in your feelings. So I
Wow.
suggest to write.
To write. Well, Robin, I'm going to make a comment and I want to keep you. You know, I'm a good steward of your time. I'm going to ask that final question, but this is my question to you. I got introduced, Miros and Robin, to audio about 5 years ago, because for those who you know where I live in Atlanta, and the traffic is like New York,
Mm-hmm,
pun
mm-hmm,
intended, my Queen Patty. It's like every day it's a park out on the freeway. And trust me, somebody said, Bella, why don't you get into the audio? I rejected it at first, Mirrors, but oh my God, when I got my Kindle account, I mean, for
mm-hmm,
real, Robin and
mm-hmm,
Mirrors,
mm-hmm,
and I'm going to an hour drive. It may take 2 hours. I
mm-hmm,
pop it in, and it does. It lets you lean in and listen. And
mm-hmm,
guess what? It's my best friend now. I still prefer paperback. I still prefer,
mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm,
know, hardback, paperback cover, but audio is absolutely wonderful. Now, listen, Robin, you know I want to steal you away, but I'm also going to honor my queens. So I want you to take the next few minutes, because I know you have a schedule to get to, a hard stop. I want you to get on that mountaintop. Come on, girl, because I'm telling my story. When I went to Africa, I went to Tanzania, the country
mm-hmm,
in Africa, and I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, which is one of the highest mountain peaks. So, Robin, picture yourself on that mountaintop, girlfriend, and I want you to tell my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Twitter X people, in terms of authorship, before you leave, what are the last words that you would like to leave my audience today, Robin? And by the way, if y'all want her to come back, okay, if y'all really want her to come back, you need to DM me, DM Bella Unplugged on my Instagram, and I will bring Robin back, because she may sell one of her books to the
mm-hmm.
first person who DMs me. Okay, a little cut. It's a little carry going on. So, Robert, I want you to take the stage. I know you have to leave. Share
Mhm.
what's on your heart. You know how Bella roll. We always leave our community better than when they came in. So, what do you want to say on that mountaintop to us, Robin?
I would love to share with your great audience. I would like for you all to just, again, take that deep breath and decide today that you can. Just decide that you can. Just make that decision that I choose that I can and I am willing to share my story. So making that decision is going to be like the thing that pushes you into getting it done. Just saying I can, I'm willing, and I am. So that's how I became an author. I decided I can. So I'll tell you all to say the same thing. You have to shut down everything. So sometimes you just got to take a deep breath with me and breathe in and then exhale and decide that you can and your story matters. And that's what I would tell your audience. You just get to that place where you're no longer going to hear the chatter of your story doesn't matter and no one wants to hear about it, and you just decide today. If you're hearing this today and you have been thinking about being an author and you've really been wrestling with that, I'm saying today's your day. It wasn't a coincidence that you've seen us on this live stream talking about it. And I would just decide that no better day than today to share my story with the world, because someone is waiting to hear it and someone needs to know that they can too. So I would say I can, I'm willing, and I am on my way to being Arthur. So that's what I would tell your audience. just
Oh,
just to decide. Take a deep breath and decide to do it.
well, listen, audience, you heard it from my queen, Robin F. David. Yes, and for those who've been regularly supporting me for the last 3 years, thank you. And yes, Robin is a regular. Robin, they're coming in. Yes, she's been on this platform at
Thank
least a
you.
half a dozen times, and she's going to come back and teach us. You know what I love, Robin? Just
Breathe. Just breathe.
I got it from
Just
her,
breathe.
Miros. I got it from my queen, Robin. So, Robin, anything else you want to say before you exit out? Because I just love you, sis. I love what you're doing. You know how we edify each other. Keep
Mhm.
doing what you're doing. You're rocking. Tell them about your social medias. How can people reach out to you directly, Robin?
Thank you, Bella. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's such an honor. Every time I come on, anytime I'm able to come onto your show, I feel very thankful and appreciative. So I would like for you all to follow me. Follow me, please, on YouTube. I would love my goal for the YouTube channel to grow. So please go to my YouTube page at RFD Talk and subscribe there. It's free. Just click there, and I'll be on there once a week, and I'll have guests like Bella and Maris Rowe on the show, because I hope that maybe can get you on the show someday. So I have guests on there as well. And so tune in every week there. And then also follow me on Instagram, which is RFD Talk. And if you're on Facebook, which is my favorite place, it's a defaulted favorite place because I'm on there all the time. You can follow me on Facebook at RFD Talk as well. And I look forward to coming back anytime that time permits for us to come back. I want to tell you all that my little closing is, I'm Robin F. David, inspiring you to love, well, excuse me, inspiring you to embrace. First of all, you want to embrace, love, and nurture yourself and others. Thank you again, Bella.
I love you so much. Come on, let's hear for Robin as she exit out. As she exit out, and Robin, you know you have unlimited tokens with Bella. You can come on my show whenever you want, Queen.
Thank
Love
you.
you,
Thank you. I love you guys. I'll see you at the top. Take care. Blessings, peace, and prosperity to our next time, guys. Love you guys. Thank you.
love you, love you. Thank you
Bye.
so
Bye. Bye.
much.
Bye.
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 Oh my goodness. Okay, let's hear for Robin as she's exiting out. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Whoa, wait, we just getting started up in here. And yes, Lakeisha, Queen Lakeisha, you are absolutely right. We have great inspiration conversations with our beautiful queen. Now, you know how they say I saved the best for last? It's kind of a old thing, but I really, 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 really am saving the best for last. Now, listen, if you're looking at this beautiful queen to my left, depending on what device you're on, her name is Queen Miros, and I'm going to let her talk to you about herself. But let me tell you something. This is a power packed woman. I'm going to do an intro. Yep, come on in, Facebook. Keep bringing those comments in. LinkedIn, y'all a little slow. Let's get with the program, LinkedIn. And to all my ex-Twitter fans, y'all come on and bring it in. Lean in. This next powerful woman, let me tell you something. She is a gem. I met Miros probably a little bit over a year and a half now on, yes, y'all know what I'm going to say, Clubhouse. Yes, Clubhouse. And she is like a diamond in the rough to me. We met off the app a few times, but I first met her beautiful, quiet spirit. She's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spirit. I'm going to let her talk to you about herself. She's bilingual, I'll give you that, and she lives in Texas, that's all I'll say. But this beautiful lady right here, oh my goodness, she's been doing over a decade, and probably more than over a decade, because sometimes we cut ourselves short, but over a decade of working as a social worker. Now, I'm going to tell them something. Miros didn't know that was my original major when I went to Frostburg State University. Shout out. But I said, I ain't trying to go there, Miros, because ain't no money in there. I keep it real, y'all. I'm going to keep it real. When they start talking about the path, you got to go get your master's. I had no problem. But when they say you get your MSW, you'll be making XYZ, I was like, I don't think so. But anyway, Miros, over a decade, she's worked as a social worker, focusing on children and families. Now, lean in, moms, lean in, dads. I said she focuses on children and family. She's bilingual. She's the author of a children's book, and she's a moderator for the House of Creativity Latino Division, especially. Let me say, y'all, come on, show some love. Show some love for my queen, Miros. And this is the book we're going to talk about. It's called Dawn Neon, and can't nobody talk about it better than the author. So come on, let's bring in the bells. Let's bring in the comments. Drum roll. For the first time, I'm welcoming my girl, Queen Miros. So Miros, grab the mic, as we say in our House of Creativity. Let people know who you are. Tell them a little bit about your soft-spoken self, and let's get this show on the road, Miros. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Thank you so much, Bella, for the beautiful introduction. Hello, everybody, to Bella's audience, divine people. Happy Friday. Feliz Viernes. I will speak some Spanish here. And Bella will be bilingual as well. So my name is Miro Saswara. I am a bilingual author. I've been in social work for over a decade. And I'm also a first generation. I'm the eldest of four siblings, and my parents are from Veracruz, Mexico. So I am Mexican American, very proud of that heritage. And I'm so excited just to be here and just tell more about my story. Bella mentioned, which I did not know, Bella, that you were going to pick social work. It's a beautiful career. Yes, it is not the most rewarding when it comes to the finance, but however, this is an opportunity for future social workers to tap in an entrepreneurial field and develop it even more. Um, that way, you could get paid and impact the field and the people. I also am the first self published author of Don Neon. Don Neon is a international bird. He is a life giving bird. He is a character that I developed back in 2001 with Queen Monique as my book mentor, coach, and writing mentor. That divine connection was an amazing story itself, and I'll be talking more about Queen Monique. The Don Neon is also, again, as I mentioned, a self-published. I met the illustrator who is from London, Ryan. Robeston. I can't really pronounce his last name, but he is an amazing illustrator. And again, that was a divine connection. I've never worked with an illustrator before. So there's so many topics in becoming an author that I had to tap into. So, and I was speaking to Robin just a few minutes before we got into um, this interview about the beta. I felt like this is been a beta year for me, and it's been a just beautiful journey overall. One, the growth, one, knowing who I am as a person and as a writer, and who my audience is, which is children. Um, I work with, of course, immigrants, refugee kids. Overall, many people don't know immigrants bring in like $2 trillion of purchasing power. There's so, and that was more of my research as well, learning the business side of the population that I work with. So there was so much to this journey, but I am very blessed to be here, and I want to thank Bella for bringing me on, and I'm excited. Let's go, Bella.
Wow. Well, you know, I am a little taken back because I'm trying to, and I'm going to discern is figure out how to quickly show my audience out of my voice, storytelling, visual, right? Digital content, how sweet and how caring, because I'm going to double back to what Miro said. And I actually did start out my first semester in social worker. It was not my calling, although I love people, I love talking to people, but I want you all to really lean in to Miro's and listen to what she says, because I'm telling you all, being a social worker in these days and times, you've got to have an anointing. Y'all know what I'm talking about, a true calling on your life. And I have seen that. Miro's exhibits and she exudes the epitome of a social worker, because I still say, Miros, they do not pay you enough, but it's not about the pay for you. And I know that it's about the heart. And as you heard her say, she's an advocate for her community. She's an advocate for the immigrants who are coming in to our country. Why? For a better opportunity. Don't sleep on that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into it. I got a question. I'm going to go straight to the top, Miros. I love you like cook food. I heard that from somebody on Clubhouse. Here's a question from Michigan. That would be our Queen Patty. And she's asking you, Miros, what is your favorite part about being an author of Don Neal?
What a great question. Hello, greetings, Queen Patty from New York. What is my favorite part of being an author of Don Neon? It's the response of the children when I'm in their face to face, when I'm telling them that I'm the author, and they're taken back. Like, you did that? Yes, I did this. I wrote it, and I bring out my testimony, and they're taken back. And so I plant little seeds so they can get inspired of. So that's the most beautiful part of being an author, of touching many lives of the kids that I work with.
Wow, here's another one. You know, when Queen Patty get on the road, Mirrors, you already know. You know, she gonna knock the others out the box. Y'all come on and bring the questions. I have a few too. Mirrors, what inspired you? And you can definitely take your time on my platform, Mirrors. But what inspired you, you know, in the final analysis to write your first book?
What inspired me was being connected with Queen Monique, who inspired me to write the first book. I have taken through since 2021. I've taken all her boot camps, and again, if you know Queen Monique, she will bring it out of you. I informed her, I let her know my story, and we just connected and made it happen. So it was already in my heart, but
You know, yeah. Now I want y'all to lean in. I mean, literally lean in. Did you hear what Miro said? Okay, this is Miro's story. She hired a writing coach. I know for a fact I made a few of them, not all of them, but Miro's number one hired a writing coach. So along with that hiring, she put her own funds out because she did what? Come on, family. She invested in herself. And you know what? That required classes, right? You have to lean in. You have to invest in yourself. We don't know what we don't know. And Miro's, what you don't know, I've been going into my fourth year. This is an inspirational, motivated, powerful, educating platform. Always leave my audience better than what they came in, Miros. And I'm telling you, I hope that we're going to change some lives with just the thought of, I have a story to tell. Mills, let me ask you this. What inspired the whole movement of the bird? And I know some of the story, not to give it away, but I want you to just lean in, Miros. Take your time. The questions are coming in, but what inspired you once you decided to write the book, once you got your business coach right, and then you came up with the creativity of the finished product? Can you talk about the character a little bit?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Bella. So Don Neon again is a life-giving international bird who loves to travel, who sees no borders. He has many talents. If you don't know Don, in Spanish, Don is many gifts. Neon is just he glows in the darkness of times, and many know what's going on in the border. It's not the best thing right now. There's many political issues going on, but the children don't have any fault in this. So again, we're focusing on the children, not right now on the politics. They need people who also care to inspire them. Welcome, they're coming in with a lot of trauma, with a lot of losses, with uncertainties, with a lot of just there's no hope sometimes because of their situation. And so if I could bring a book, a parrot, a character that could make contact with them and bring hope and reignite their imagination to travel beyond their borders, beyond any border, right? Donia could travel anywhere. And there's no discrimination. There is no hate. There's no limits. He's flying. And so that's what I want the kids to, their imaginations to grow. Is just to go fly higher than they could ever, more than their parents could.
Now I'm gonna pump the brakes. And the comments are coming in because Miros, again, I am bowing down to you gracefully because I really want to pick out some things about you that I know. And I want y'all to know something. Facebook family, y'all come on. Y'all my first love. This queen is so pure, Pure, and very humble. And that's shout out from Ashley. I gotta shout her out. That's my daughter, Miros. She says
Hi,
so
Ashley.
inspiring. That's right. But I'm gonna peel the layers of the onion back because Miros, I'm gonna tell you something publicly for the first time. When I had dark days, and we all have dark days, I'm going back to my 6-year-old self, Miros. I came from a loving family, a mom and dad, a working class family, but I had my moments, Miros, right? And I would escape. Hear me, audience. I would escape in a book. See, Miros, what I want to say to you is thank you. You know why? And I'm serious, and you know I am, Miros, because books save lives. For children, books are the imagination. When you're hurting, when things aren't right, a book, you can find solace. You can find comfort, so much more. So, Miros, I want you to repeat because I don't think all my community, I'm talking about my Twitter. Come on, bring those comments in. I'm talking about my Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube family. I want you to expound a little bit more on these immigrant children that you carry over, that you look over as the angel, and the importance of this book and the character mirrors. So dig in a little bit more, mirrors. Share what's on your heart about that because I think it's beautiful.
Thank you, Bella. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm gonna get a little teary here because thank you for your for what you planted in me as well, Bella. So just to bring some content, I am a social worker. Whenever the kids are taken to the shelter, they are released. They're released, and I get their cases. So whenever I get their cases, I do home assessments just to make sure there's no human trafficking. I do their interviews, make sure everything is they're safe. So that is where I do the one-on-one with the children. And I have the opportunity to bring the book to them and introduce the storytelling, and I introduce hope, introduce that they have so much more to continue going on despite the lack of language barriers, despite the lack of finance, despite the um, lack of a lot of things that they don't have access to. So thank you again, Bella. I'm a little
I tell
teary.
you. Well, you know what, and you know what, go ahead and get a tissue, Mirrors, because you know we are 100 authentic ourselves, right? And
Freedom.
I didn't intend to make you cry, but I'm going to make you cry because see, people don't understand the art of teaching, Mirrors, the art
Mhm.
of caring is going out the window. And as faith believers, as we all are, and let's keep it real, I want y'all to feel the energy. We are not
Whew,
playing no games up in here. And I
no.
want you to see the love. So I want my audience. I want my audience. We're going to stop right now, Miros. Collect yourself for a second and tell everybody how to get this book because I am telling you, she's real, people. This book, hear
Okay.
me. This is not a political game. We're not up here to play no game. I'm keeping it real 100. And you're right,
Thank
because
you.
Miros, the Holy Spirit is here, strong and alive, because people want
Yeah.
to know. Yes, Miros, because people need to know. We need
Thank
to
you.
go back to our first love. Now, I have an audience of about 5,000
Ooh,
people. I'm not telling you
Lord.
no lie, Miros. And so now, I don't know how many on here after I do my algorithm. And you know,
Right.
Mirrors, you know I stay on top of the game. I'm going to figure it out. But right now, as Mirrors collecting herself, I'm putting up this book. Now, I
Thank
want you all to sew into this book. Mirrors,
you.
I want you to stop. I want you to
Ooh,
tell people how to get this book. And Mirrors has agreed with Bella when we were in the green room before we came on. We are going to sew. SOW people, we're going to sew one book to the first person that DMs Bella. So go to my Instagram, Bella Unplugged. Let me know one thing that you took away from this broadcast, and I'm going to invite you to go back and replay because we're not here to play no games, people. These are unscripted moments, and Miros is showing her humbleness because I get
ooh.
her.
Yes.
I really get her, and it's not just a book. This is lifeline to the children that Riros has been raised up by God. Yep, this is my show. I can say and do what I want to do. The Holy Spirit has moved Miros when she was a little girl coming up of mega means that she understands the children. Come on, the children that are sometimes forgotten and left behind. So Miros, take your time, break it down, Queen, how they can get their copy of your book.
Thank you, Bella. Yes, Holy Spirit, move, and thank you again for honoring Don Neon. You could purchase it or contact us at www.donneonbooks.com. And you can find me on Instagram, Miro Saswara, and we're here. We're growing. It's still in beta form. We're growing, and I'm excited for what God has in store for us.
Now, Mirrors, I got a couple of questions I'm going to flash because my audience will beat me up. Bella, let me get my questions in. So let's get to them because I have a comment. The Holy Spirit is all over me. Mirrors, you know how I am. So let's go with these questions. Okay. Now, we got one from, you know, Queen of New York. That's my girl. That's our girl. Patty says, does Don Neon travel with you? And talk a little bit about the character Don Neon, Mirrors.
Yes, Don Dion does travel with me. If you go onto Instagram, we take pictures all over different cities. Right now, you in the U.S., we've been in Mexico, and he is global. And we're excited for the future to go to many more countries. Don Neon, I also have a beta parrot. So now not only the kids have a book, now they'll have a stuffed animal that they can hold on to. So it's in beta form. I got the sample. It's beautiful. My nieces tried it for the first time in December. So they love it. They love the plush toy. So there's so much unique.
Wow. Wow. Here's another question, Miros. It's coming from the New York girl. Do you have a pivotal moment in your career, Miros, that became a milestone in hindsight? And you can take that question anywhere you want to answer it. Do you have a pivotal moment in your career that became a milestone in your hindsight?
Great question, Patty. Man, she's coming in hot, like Wise says always. My a pivotal moment was when I spoke at briefly, just a small introduction at one of Monique's. She was a speaker at a conference in Phoenix back last year, and that was one of the pivotal moments because, again, if many don't know my background, I wasn't really great at speaking. That actually was one of my fears is speaking. So standing on that um on the pole on I can't think of the word right now, but standing in front of the audience and speaking about my book, whether it was just for a minute, that was a pivotal moment because I conquered a fear of mine, and I know it was just the beginning of it. So I have to thank Queen Monique for just allowing me just to speak a minute, even if it's a minute. I conquered a fear.
Listen. Okay, can I speak? I'm gonna throw it in there, Miros. You know I gotta throw it in there. I always have jokes. Listen, I want y'all to know something. Watch out for humble, quiet people. Don't sleep on what we title the world society as
Amen.
introverts. Now, Miros is an introvert. My daughter is an introvert. But what I'm going to say as a mother, as a parent, as a sister, as the auntie, as the queen, don't sleep on the introverts because they're very intuitive. You know, they listen to what you say. Don't be despised if they don't do a lot of talking. And when I tell you Miros does not do a lot of talking, she does not do a lot of talking. But guess what? When she talks, it explodes. Now, Miros, I have a question because I know you mentioned beta a lot. We talked about beta. I'm loving Don Leon. So are we going to get a series out of this? And I'm hearing a character. I mean, can you tell a little bit more? Because what's coming up with me, Miros, is Sesame Street.
Yes, amen. I receive it, Queen Bella. Well, in my spirit, I'm ready to write more on Donia's series, especially the fruit of the spirit, the talents. But they're tropical. We're gonna have some tropical fruits of the spirit. I want the kids to learn that there's different types of fruits that kids are kids from other countries are very fond of or used to, but here in the US are not accustomed. So there's so many fruits to learn and just to intertwine it with the fruits of the spirit, then we'll go for it. So there's so much to more behind it.
Listen, I know there's a lot behind it. I'm about to give my queen her shine because Miros know I am just as happy staying in the background. Y'all don't understand. I really know this beautiful young soul. She's not only a mentee, she represents. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to read what I got to do it. It's the Holy Spirit, Miros. You know how Bella is. Did y'all hear what she says? She's a professional social worker. She has the MSW and a lot of other accreditations because you got to stay current, okay, in the public corporate America. You have to stay current with your certifications. So she's not only, right, MSW, what I call certified social worker, she advocates, right? She advocates for the Latino community in Texas. Now, Miros, you have got to rewind. Wrap this puppy up because we got a special guest. They don't even know who I got to listen to. They don't even know what they don't know. But Miros, take your time. Get on that Mount Kilimanjaro mountain that Bella went to 4 years ago in Tanzania. And I want you to speak to your community. And I want you to speak in your language, Miros, because you know how I am. And I want you to tell somebody out there, it's over 5,000 people watching on my Facebook, on my YouTube, on my LinkedIn, on my Twitter, aka X. And I want you to lean in hard, Miros, because I want them to listen to you and speak your language and tell people why they need to write their story. Take it away, Miros. The floor is yours, as we say in Clubhouse, girlfriend.
Thank you so much, Bella, again, for the opportunity to share just a little bit of my story of Dawn Neon. And thank you for the audience. I love you all. What I would like to say is just bold is beautiful. Your story needs to be heard. And even if the simplicity is still sexy. Simplicity is sexy. Go for it. Do it scared. I'm in beta form. Beta is the word that I'm using. Holy Spirit, just run with it. And those are my words. Go for it. Back to you.
Well, Miros, let me tell you something. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let me tell you something. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. You have heard the story. Once again, I'm getting ready to bring my very special guest up, but you best believe Bella Unplugged. I'm not here to play no games. Go to my Instagram, DM me one takeaway, and I will get a signed hand copy of Mio's book to you immediately. So let's blow her up. Say something in Spanish, Miros. I got to start taking my Spanish classes. So go ahead and
Yes.
speak to your community, Miros. Take it away before I bring up my guest.
Gracias, Bella. Muchas gracias. Bendiciones a todos. Y que Bella, bendiciones. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. We coming on hot now. Okay, family, I'm getting ready to bring somebody on the stage. Now, you know what? This person is a legend, right? Now, Miros and I know because we are on Clubhouse, but y'all don't know what y'all don't know. Now, I'm happy because he knows why. I got the one, the one and only, my mentor, my digital mentor, my coach. I'm going to build him up because Glenn Lundy has no idea what he's done for Bella over the 2.5 years on the largest membership on Clubhouse. That's called Breakfast with Champions. But you know what? Without further ado, if you're looking at this person, come on in, family. Get on in there. Let's get them ticks up. I got the one, the only. He can speak for himself. Glenn Lundy. I gotta say, Glenn. Can I say it, Glenn? He is a husband to one, a father of 8, and this man gets me up every morning. Glenn Lundy, come on in here for the second or third time. Welcome, my family, to your audience. And what's going on, Glenn Lundy?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? You always bring the fire, man. You always bring that energy. I absolutely love being in this space, and it's an honor to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, listen, let me tell you, Glenn, we've been standing up hot. You know, I take my lessons. People don't know, Glenn. I have 22 pages in a book. It's called Glenn Lundy. Y'all think I'm crazy. My daughter used to think I'm whack. Ma, why are you always on Clubhouse? I'm like, girl, you don't even know. I went in there to get iron sharpening iron, and guess what? I found this man below me. He's very busy, as we all are. We're going to get right into it. We're talking about authorship, Glenn. We've had several queens because you know, Glenn. See, Glenn knows how to honor women.
Amen.
Let me say that one more time. Glenn knows how to honor women. This is Women History Month. They blowing up the chat, Glenn. We're going to talk about his book, and I'm going to put it up here right now. And Glenn, I'm going to put you on blast. You got to autograph my book. So without further ado, I'm going to let Glenn talk about himself. We're going to talk about the legacy titles. Glenn's been on my platform before. I am super excited. I got sweat coming on the side mirrors. I'm all that in the bag of chips because I love this man. Glenn know how I am. Glenn Lundy, tell these people who don't know you who you are. We're going to talk a little bit about the legacy titles. Glenn, as we say in Clubhouse, the mic is yours.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. Yeah, I wrote a book. The legacy titles, 12 proven principles to grow your business 800%. And it's something I'm proud of, Bella. You know, it's something I'm proud of. I had the opportunity to lead a car dealership to 800% growth. I had the honor to build that business to become the second largest used car franchise dealership in the United States of America. And to write this was to take all those principles, right? Everything that we applied when it came to leading people, developing people, for everything from the marketing to inventory strategy, so on and so forth, and put it together in a book. But I'll be honest with you, Bella, when I first put this together, like, it was boring. I didn't like it. Like, the strategies were great and applicable, but for the end user, somebody trying to read it, like, it was boring, right? And so I was like, man, I can't do that, because that's not how, like, I don't like anything boring. I'm just not interested in that. And so what I ended up doing is I wrote this book as a story, right? So there's a guy named Alfred, and Alfred knows he has more potential. My guess is you probably have tons of listeners, people in your network, people that are your community, that in your community that know they have more potential, right? So Alfred knew he had more potential. He's driving to work. He's thinking about it. He's like, man, there's more there. And then immediately after that, his grandfather passes away. And when his grandfather passes away, his grandfather leaves him a chest. And in that chest, there are 12 titles, old car titles. And on these car titles is written 12 different principles of how to scale and grow, be successful in the business. So he then reads each one, and as he reads each one, he starts to apply it in his business. And there's ups and downs and just this whole story, right? This whole story of growth and the challenges that we all face. Because sometimes we can get the instructions, we know what we need to do, but that doesn't mean things are going to be easy, right? So I wrote the book so that the reader could go on the journey with Alfred, apply the principles in their own life, understand there's going to be some ups and downs, be entertained along the way, right? And be able to retain the information that's in there. So once we put it together that way, I'm like, dude, this is the jam. I'm super, super proud of it. All of you, if you're interested, just reach out to me. We'll make sure that you get a copy. But yeah, that's how that went down, Bella. It's been
Glenn,
great.
wow, I had no idea. Now, Glenn, we got a couple of questions. Everybody's going to blow up. Yeah, because Glenn Lundy said, that's right. Glenn, I'm feeling some kind of way because guess what? It's my platform. Bella can do what she want to do. See, they don't know the backstory, Glenn. They don't know the backstory. They don't
Right.
even know. But I got the man with master plan. Glenn, you know what? I got to say this. I'm going to take my flowers and give them to you now. Glenn Lundy, we talk all the time, right? But let me take the time on my public platform, Miros, to say, and I may cry, Glenn, you have absolutely changed Bella's life. Why? Not only because of legacy title. No, we're not up in here pushing no books. That's not that kind of platform. But y'all got to understand something. This man shares his heart. He's a believer. He does not allow you to let yourself down. I've had so many aha moments off of Clubhouse, Glenn, no doubt, and a little membership family called Breakfast with Champions. Who would have ever thought Glenn Lundy? And Glenn, you remember my story. I told you I came on there just kind of whistling Dixie, didn't know
Right.
what I wanted, but I knew that I needed a leader because iron has to sharpen iron. People know I work for the mayor, I do all this stuff, but you know what, Glenn? I was looking for direction. And let me tell y'all something. Glenn Lundy ain't no joke. When he says he's a husband to one and a father of 8, I want you to dive into, and I'm going to put you on blast, Glenn. You got to promise to come back, do a whole hour, because I got all these people wanting to ask you questions. And
Yeah,
I'm
no
like,
doubt.
no. I'm like, no, I'm going to ask my own questions. Y'all got to get in line. So, Glenn, really share a little bit about your heart. I know, is this your first book? This is not your first book. We're talking about authorship, Glenn. So share a little bit, Glenn.
Yeah, so my first book was The Morning Five, right? 5 Simple Steps to an Extraordinary Life. It's an ebook, short read. You can read it in less than an hour. And that book has been incredibly impactful. That book has gone out to hundreds of thousands of people all around the world, helping people change the way they start their day, which I truly believe is the catalyst to all the rest, right? If you can get your foundation straight, you can build as high as you want to build on it, right? You can build the house. And so writing and just transferring, being able to transfer words and the energy of words to others in a way that it can make an impact in their life is, there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
We can chat, right? And we can have conversations. I think conversations are really important. When you elevate that, though, the intention that you have to put into your words when you're writing a book, right? When you're trying to share a thought, when you're trying to share a concept, when you're trying to make sure that whether the reader is 13 years old or 83 years old, that they can understand what the message is that you're trying to deliver. It's a whole different experience, right? We have to really channel energy. And so that's why I think books, look at technology, look at the world. The world is advanced with phones and internets and AI bots. The world is advanced where we're all connected together now all around the world. You can fly to crazy places like in a heartbeat. You can travel in a car 200 miles an hour. Elon Musk is releasing robots that'll fix your breakfast and so on and so forth, right? NVIDIA just showed a little thing yesterday. They had the announcements and they had the little Disney bots walking around on the stage. Like, we are technologically advanced like you wouldn't believe. But guess what has never changed?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is power in the written word. There is power in the written word. And it's not something that any technology can ever disconnect. It's deeply ingrained with us. There's a reason why this book is the best-selling book of all time right here.
Come on, Glenn.
This is the best-selling book of all time. Billions of copies distributed in every language all around the world, right? There's a reason. There's a reason for that. The way that our brains receive the context, the way that we, the way that when we write and whether we're writing or we're reading, whatever, just the power of the word, right? It's so powerful. So I love being an author. I love being a writer. I've got way more to write. There's a lot more coming out. The legacy titles has been a great first start at like the full self-publishing thing. So now we've done the ebook. Now we've done this. We've also done the Audible experience, which if any of you get a chance, it's not like any other Audible you've ever heard. Not because the book is great. The Audible, we added interviews, we added sound engineering. Like, the Audible experience is over the top. Like, whether you're interested in growing it or not, just listening to the audio experience is amazing. And there's more to come, Bella. There's more to come. So.
Well, Glenn, I'm going to stop you because, hold up, wait a minute. I'm from Baltimore, Glenn. You're giving away too much tea. These questions are coming in and you're getting ahead of me, Glenn Lundy. You just bring this energy, right? Here I go, Glenn, energy. I keep Beyonce in my head because my daughter, shout out to my daughter, Glenn. She treated me to those floor tickets and I was like a couple of rows away and I had an amazing time. I was up there. Oh, I had the silver going on. I didn't have the cowboy hat, but I love me some energy. So Glenn, let's get some of these questions because man, I got to bring you back. So we got something from Patty. We call the Queen of New York, Patty. She's asking, I think you answered it, Glenn, but let's go back, Glenn. Her question is, which book version? And we're talking about the legacy titles, ladies and gentlemen in the community. And Patty wants to know which book version would you say is your favorite, Glenn? And if so, why?
Yeah, definitely the Audible experience that we created when it comes to this is definitely it's everything that's in the book plus, right? So everything there's the interviews in between are with Heather Parody, who was my co-host on a morning show. She's also a podcaster and a comedian. And then my buddy Michael Cirillo, he owns one of the top 10 podcasts in all of business. He comes from the automotive space. And so the two of them interviewed me in between each chapter. And so we just went deeper, right? Like we went deeper into the concepts and the principles in the book, which is incredible. And then the audio engineering, like when Alfred, the character, gets in his truck, you hear a truck start up. When he's driving down the freeway, you hear motorcycles going by. But it's not like a play. It's not full theatrical. It's just little audio cues throughout the book that make you feel like you're immersed in the story of Alfred as he goes through this journey. Each of the titles, when the titles are read, it's a different voice. It's like a bolder, stronger voice. So instead of just me narrating 30,000 words, we've created this incredible experience that has highs and lows and music and all this stuff, man. So the Audible experience is dope. For real, for real, for real, for real.
Well, I guess, Rose, I went, I have a Kindle account, Glenn, and I kind of brought down the first couple of pages. I was waiting because it took too long to get a freaking book, but I got my
I don't know
freaking book.
what Amazon did. Amazon
Yeah,
held it.
man.
The people who pre-ordered Amazon held it for like a month.
What was up with that, Glenn?
Is all Amazon. We messaged it. I still don't even have a cover on the book listing on Amazon, and we submitted that 2 months ago. And you can't get a hold of nobody at Amazon. Like, it's Amazon. So I don't know what
Exactly.
was up with that, but I believe everybody's got them now.
Well, Glenn, we were talking about earlier. We had two queen on. One had to leave. We were talking about authorship. That's what I'm crafting authorship. This is part two. There's a lot involved in writing. There's different forms of writing. We got a little bit about 15 minutes, and I have to honor everybody's time. Glenn, I just want you to rip it because the audience that I'm looking at now, the questions are coming in. And one in particular, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to ask that question, but I'm actually going to put you on the spot, Glenn. I have a lot of mentors too, but somebody wants to know, Glenn, and it's Patty. Patty loves some Glenn Lundy like I do. And Glenn, she's asking, who would you say, who, Glenn, is your most memorable mentor? It could be multiple, but Glenn, go ahead because people really want to know who is this Glenn Lundy that Bella's always talking about. So, Glenn, come on, let's do some freestyling. But who are your favorite mentor or mentors with a capital S, Glenn?
Yeah, no one's influenced my life more than Jesus. By far, Jesus, hands down, biggest influence, biggest impact, saved my life, has the ability to save yours too. Like, Jesus, hands down, first and foremost. The second most impactful mentor that I've had in my life is Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone has been a mentor of mine since 1999. Inspires me in so many ways. Just an incredible dude, massive integrity, power. He's just legit, right? Like, he's just a workhorse. And then the third, I would say, is I'm incredibly inspired and influenced, and who's been, a mentor of mine in a different way is my wife, man. Like, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for my wife. She took me from, just kind of a dude who was doing whatever just doing whatever, messing around and doing whatever, to she helped shape me into the father that I am today, the husband that I am today, the businessman that I am today, the relationship that I have with Christ. Like, my wife helped shape all of those things, man. All of those things. So those would be my top three, man. Jesus is in the number one slot. Grant Cardone, number two, only because he's been around longer than my wife. And my wife comes in number three as the really most influential, impactful people in my world.
Listen, let me tell you something, Glenn. Take a breath. If you got some water, take a sip because I had to take that in. And the reason why I'm saying is for those of you there's very few men that you will find that's going to publicly as well as privately edify, right? Uplift women. And I told you, Glenn, I still have my favorite mentor. One of the greats. First is absolutely is our Lord and Savior. But Ambassador Andrew Young has guided me for over 25 years. And you're the second person. Hear me, Glenn. And Bella not here to play no games, Glenn. He said, when you find men, Bella, who really understands what a woman is, who she belongs to, and what she does. He says your life will be so rich. And you know who I'm talking about, Glenn. The Ambassador Andrew Young just had his 92nd birthday, March
Right.
12th. Shout out AMB, as I like to refer to him. But that resonated with me, right, Glenn? And I said, now who do I know publicly, new or old, that's like that? And I said, Glenn Lundy, because Glenn, you got to know something. 2 years of following Breakfast with Champion, episode, I don't know, 1,300 something, right, Glenn?
Right.
But you always acknowledge your wife and your children. I'm going to tell you something, Glenn. You hear it all the time, but hear it from Bella. I honor you because, sir, let me tell you something. You're always consistent. You keep it real. And anybody honors women, they got my heart and hello, okay? So, Glenn, we got about, I don't know, we're going to end at 2:30 unless you want to go over, Glenn, but I got a couple of questions. Now, this is from Love Amplify, so we got to set the record straight. She's saying, Okay, that's awesome and honest to hear his answer, but that's not the one. She wants to find your ebook. So let's kind of pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Bella's all excited. I'm going to sip on my tea. Tell them where they can get everything, Glenn, because I need my book autographed, Glenn, and I got to get the Audible.
Yeah, no problem. So the ebook is at themorning5.com. Themorning5.com. You can download the ebook. It's free. There's no, it don't cost you nothing. So themorning5.com. And then as far as the legacy titles, you can grab that from Amazon or go to glenlundy.com. There's a link to it there if you want to go to glenlundy.com, which you can get to the Morning Five from glenlundy.com too. So but anyways, the ebook free download, the paperback book Amazon.
Now, Glenn, we have 10 minutes. It's 2:20. I'm gonna stay on check.
Sure.
The questions are coming so much. I'm like, I feel like you, Glenn. I'm like, they scrolling, Glenn. They scrolling. Let me tell you something. This man is smooth. My daughter said, I gotta meet this Glenn because Mama talks about it all the time. I sure do, daughter, if you're watching. And here's the reason why. Certain people, and Glenn, you have this persona where you're seeing real, you're authentic, you're 100% yourself 24/7. And Glenn, we won't go down that rabbit hole too much, but there's a lot of people, I say, that they're arrested development in their mind, want to be everybody but who they are. So Glenn, I really want you to take this 9 minutes, take as long as you want, because Miros are not going to get the pen and paper, right, Miros? You have such wisdom, and I'm always writing down. So Glenn, I want to take this show for the last 8 minutes. I want you to rock it out, but I just want you to speak. There's a lot of people, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my X, especially my YouTube, and for the replayers, speak to the heart because we talked about authorship, Glenn. We talked about everybody has a seat at the table in terms of a story. We all have stories. So, Glenn, speak what's on your heart. And at the end, share your social media handles because everybody wants a piece of Glenn. Get in line, people. Get in line. So, Glenn, just share what's on your heart, sir. You know me, Glenn. I'm having some fun up in here.
You bring me a water, please. The when in regards to a lot of people trying to be something that they're not, it's fascinating in this crazy thing called life how figuring out who we are is both the most freeing thing that we can do and also the most challenging aspect of humanity. People don't know who they are. And your identity can really be found in only two places. It can be found in this book, and it can be found in your heart. In today's day and age with social media and all these other things, people are trying to find their identity in outside sources. They're trying to find their identity by watching their favorite celebrities. They're trying to find their identity by looking at what their parents do or their friend groups or their circles or their environments or their jobs. They're trying to find identity in the music that they listen to. They're trying to find identity in their bank accounts. People are looking to find their identity in outside places. And the reality is that if you are everything on the outside for the world without knowing who you are on the inside, then it causes this inauthentic experience where you don't know who you are, so people don't know who you are. They don't know whether they can trust you or not. They don't know whether they should be aligned with you or not. They don't know if you're on the same frequency. They don't know if you got a different vibe. They don't know. And as long as they don't know and you don't know, you'll never grow. So I just challenge those that are in that situation, Bella, that are looking outside and looking to others to help them figure out who they are. I just want to challenge you to break away from that, break free of that, release yourself from that. Understand that you are strong, you are powerful, you are courageous, understand that you are a child of God, that you are a creator, and that ultimately the identity that you seek, the authenticity that you desire in others and others desire in you can be found when you invest in this, when you invest in heart, when you invest in yourself. And see, for me, I had a hard time understanding this. I was a chameleon. I used to be everything on the outside for everyone else because I had no idea who I was on the inside. My skin was too dark to be considered white. My skin was too light to be considered black. I grew up around gangsters, and at other times I was around like cowboys, and at other times I was around the nerdy group and all these things. And I was just a chameleon. I had no idea who I was. And the same was true for me in my 20s. And ultimately, that led to me going in and out of jail cells and getting in trouble and all these different environments and making poor decisions because I was constantly trying to conform to the world and not understanding who I was. But once I kind of got this grip, right, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. The answers are on the inside, not the outside. Well, then I had to start asking questions like not just who I am, but ultimately whose I am. Because if you want to learn anything about yourself, right, you got to start with your DNA. You got to start with your genetics. Where did you come from? And when I started to seek and understand where I came from, that's where this book came in. That's where Jesus came into my life. That's where I was saved and ultimately started to understand that my Father is a creator. And as a creator, he has instilled in me the ability to create. I started to understand that my Father loves me. And in that, not only am I loved, but also I am love. And once I started to see these things, I couldn't unsee them, right? I couldn't unsee the gift that is me, not in an egomaniac way, but the gift that is me, the gift that I am to my father, the gift that I now am to my wife, the gift that I am to my kids. And knowing that I'm a gift, I treat myself as such. I do the things that need to be done to continue to feed the spirit, to feed my soul. I do the work in the mornings, especially, right? I do the work every single day to make sure that I'm tapped into whose I am and who I am. So then when I show up and I get to the honor of spending time with someone like you, Bella, I can just be me. I don't have to be anybody else. I don't have to act any other way. I don't have it's not pride, it's not humility, it's not any of those catchphrases or words that we throw around. It's just me being me. Like me, don't like me, enjoy me, don't enjoy me, doesn't matter. Like, I am going to walk in the truth, which is I am who I am. He is who he is. And together, him and I are going to traverse this journey of this thing called life. And those that I get to experience it with, I will love and I will be loved, but I will never in any way, shape, or form try to be something that I'm not. Because I understand when I don't know who I am on the inside, I can only conform to the outside. But when you know exactly who you are, when you know who you are, you can walk in strength, you can walk in power, and you can walk without fear. So, Bella, that's it.
Glenn Lundy, you gonna make Bella cry up in here. And I did have some makeup on earlier, Glenn, and now it's gonna be sweat out. You know, Bella keep it real. Now
Right.
listen, before we close this show, I'm gonna put Glenn on that mountain. I got it from Glenn Lundy. Glenn's gonna travel with Bella on Mount Kilimanjaro. By the way, I really did climb that mountain, Glenn.
Right.
And that is in Arusha, Tanzania. That is a country, one of 54 countries on the continent of Africa, people. I'll be doing some series on that. But anyway, Glenn, I'm going to put Glenn up on that top of that mountain peak, Mount Kilimanjaro, because I really went there. I got dirt sticks to prove for it, right, Glenn? And I
Right?
want you to get that shofar out. Glenn know what I'm talking about. Miros know what I'm talking about. And everybody's looking up at you, Glenn Lundy. And as we close out this show, as you always say, Glenn, this is the first and the last day of Friday, March 22nd, 2024, the year of our Lord. I want you to inspire, motivate, educate, which you do so eloquently, Glenn Lundy. I motto after you. And y'all heard Glenn. He's coming back. I'm going to get an hour out of him so we can do a whole clubhouse and stream out to the world. But Glenn, right now, as my audience is saying, Dad, going it, Bell, I can't get my questions in. No, you can't. Glenn's going to give some advice, some biblical advice. Glenn, let it rip, because the last voice you're going to hear before I close out will be Glenn Lundy. Glenn, take it away.
Yeah, if I'm on top of a mountain and I have a brief moment and the honor to be able to share some words of wisdom with the world, I would start by saying, Jesus is King. Know that, breathe that, walk in that, honor that. And as King, he can save your life. Like, Jesus died on the cross for you and for me. And there is so much freedom and power in knowing that. I would start there. And then if they gave me a little more time on the mountain, if they gave me a little more time, I would just tell everyone, go, like, dream big, man. Dream as big as you can. We have been conditioned over decades on decades on decades on decades on decades on decades to believe that we are small. But you are not. Miros, you are not small. Bella, you are not small. And there is a whole system out there built and designed to make you feel less than. And it's just not real. Like, this whole there's stars and moons and planets, and Earth is a billion miles wide, and the universe is a bit, and you're just a tiny speck, a particle of dust, worthless and meaningless. And in a world of 8 billion people, you're just another number here today and gone tomorrow. And all of that is false. All of it is false. The entire universe was put together with divine design, and you are a crucial component of that. A crucial component. The world would not be what it is today without you. So live big, dream big, have huge expectations for yourself and for others. Walk tall. Know that you matter. Dude, you matter. And then, I guess, if they still let me on the mic at the top of the mountain, I would end it by just simply saying, anything you see in me right now, just know that it exists in you. Because if it didn't exist in you, you wouldn't be able to see it. And then I'd tell everybody how much I love them, because I do. And then I'd stick the mic out like this. I'd probably drop it.
Let me tell you something. And that is my mentor, my digital coach, the one, the only Glenn with 2 N's. That's Glenn Lundy. That's my man. Leslie is a very special queen because she realizes that you are an icon and you are a treasure of this world. And she gladly shared you. Glenn Lundy, let me tell you something. Come on, Queen Mirrors. We tip our crowns off to you. We know what you mean. We get to see you each and every day. And for the last 10 years, what is it, Glenn? Episode number 1,300, something.
That's right.
Bella got a page of 24 pages over 2 years. I got stock in the game, Glenn. I
That's right.
want to say thank you so much, Glenn. You said it publicly. You know I got to get with Jessica. Call me sometimes, Glenn. I got an idea the Holy Spirit just gave me while you were up here. But Glenn, you inspire so much. I want to take the time to bow down to you because we really do appreciate you. Nobody pays you a dime, and I know that for a fact. All the man hours, I don't know, like 50 million, 11 hours, Glenn, on how many
Somewhere right around there.
this man comes in. What you're saying is the real deal. I don't have to upsell, sell Glenn nothing. Follow his social media. Glenn, give him the social media handles. Tell him about 800% before you get up out of here, Glenn. How can they reach you? How can they buy a car, Glenn?
Yeah, best thing to do is just go to glennlundy.com, right? It links to everything, links to my Instas and my LinkedIns and my books and just how we can connect. So if you're interested in connecting further, I'd love to build a relationship with you. Just go to glennlundy.com and we can connect. And
And before
Miros,
we,
I see you over there in your
yes,
tower, and it's you're touching my heart right now. And I just want to challenge you, girl, to just keep shining that light. You have a beautiful, radiant aura about you, and the world
thank
needs
you.
more of what you have to offer. So keep it up. And Bella, girl, you already know, like your next level sister. You are absolutely next level. So thank you so much for having me on. Keep growing, keep expanding, keep impacting. You matter.
All right. Y'all heard it. You know, we got people, place, and things. We got to go. So without further ado, hit the replay, share, invite. If you know what to do is right. Yep, I'm bragging. I can do what I want because we got Glenn Lundy up in here. Miros, close up with something in Spanish, girl. Talk to the peoples. Come on, Miros.
Bendiciones a todos. Los amo. Thank you, Glenn Lundy. You made me cry. So did Bella. So love you all. Bye.
And with
Inspirational.
thank you. With that, till next time, it's the Bella Unplugged. Let's go get it. I love you all. And ain't nothing you can. All right.